I want to show you my harvest. Okay, we have beet leaves, lettuce, kale, Swiss chard, one spinach leaf, and chives. Look at this. Isn't this so precious? I actually want to try this beet leaf. Wow, that is so good. This lunchbox that I'm packing, probably gonna go to the beach today because the weather is nice and hot, and I think it is going to be a little rainy over the next couple of days, so I want to enjoy this weather as much as possible. I thought that I was a person who had a strong foundation of self-love and self-confidence. But these days, I've been having the epiphany that throughout all this time, for more than a decade, I was actually cultivating self-righteousness. And I feel like it's very easy to get those two mixed up because in our culture, there's a lot of importance on self. And while it's supposed to be an empowering movement, without any balance or compassion towards others, it causes us to become very mean-spirited. And I feel like that has been me over the majority of my life. It doesn't only cause suffering for others, but because it causes suffering for others, I learned that it also causes suffering for me. That in no way I can be at peace knowing that my processing and my thoughts are causing more division, more harm, more hostility in the world. There's this concept of the illusion of separateness, which is when we humans think that another person is separate from us. But when we really soften into our heart space, we recognize the other person as a fellow brother or sister. And even deeper than that, we recognize the other person as us. So I've been learning these days how to practice self-love that doesn't cause suffering for others, and also practice this sense of confidence that doesn't require me to be quote unquote right. That I could cultivate this stability within my internal world and my perception of myself by truly feeding into love-filled thought patterns and actions. Of course, not all of my thoughts are going to look like that off the bat, but at the end, that is my highest intention, for it to bring me back to this place of love for all. Because that's the only way I could practice self-love. It's when I love others too. But in this video, I'm going to talk about specific practices that I've been doing to help me stay regulated and soft. In turn, that also helps me be a better friend, a better partner, a better daughter towards the people around me. This place is magical! Magical! I think the main shift that has occurred within my relationship with self is me finally recognizing all the ways I have been practicing self-negligence instead of self-love. And I have been using that word a lot more too, self-negligence, because a lot of the times it's easy to avoid accountability for how we take care or how we don't take care of ourselves. We could simply say things like, oh, we weren't feeling it, or we're just lazy today, or, like this is more convenient. But all of those ways that we know internally that we want to show up for ourselves, but we don't, at its root, what that is self-negligence. So just being really honest with myself of all of the ways I have been doing just that, such as not stretching every single day, such as opening those bags of chips that are super processed but makes me feel horrible, such as letting myself act from a place of reactivity and then suffering afterwards because of regret and tension. Good morning. I have recently cut my hair for the summer. It's so much shorter. I don't know if I like it, but I do know that I feel a lot better having less hair. I started viewing myself as inner me and outer me. Inner me is my intuition, maybe even my inner child, just the soul that whispers what she really wants. And then this outer me that faces the external world is the person who actually acts. You know, at the end, she has kind of like the final say because she's the one who is rooted in this physical reality. So the most important responsibility for outer me is to fulfill the wishes of inner me. I started viewing it like that, and it has been incredibly helpful because when I feel like it's hard for me to show up for myself, I'm remembering that there is a deeper me who needs tending to, who wants to be listened to, whose voice and wishes matter a lot. One of my unofficial love languages is apologies. I appreciate and love a sincere, deep apology. And I have been witnessing how I do not apologize to myself when I am self-negligent. So with the awareness of self-negligence, the practice that follows afterwards is an apology because I deserve that. Inner me deserves that. My inner child, my intuition, my soul, they all deserve that because they have been speaking to me all along and I've just been self-negligent. I even started apologizing to myself for when I'm acting with impatience and haste and I bang into stuff and I hurt myself through that, you know? And I'm like, oh, I'm really sorry. I should have been more careful. I should have gone more slowly. I've been recognizing how I've been causing harm to myself through my self-negligence and concluding the loop of full accountability with an apology. And it makes me feel safer. It makes me feel loved. It makes me feel so cared for by myself when I do that. One of the quickest ways I start feeling invisible within a connection is when the other person starts to assume that they know me and stop practicing active curiosity. So basically what I'm trying to say is, I love being on the receiving end of curiosity. I love it when people are genuinely curious about who I am. And that applies for long-term connections too, because who we are every single second of every single day is different. We are constantly changing, constantly metamorphosizing. And being on the receiving end of curiosity shows me that the other person recognizes that I am not the person that they think that I am, that I am not the person that I was the last time they saw me, the last time they spoke to me, that something has shifted within me. So I've been trying to practice that for others, and with this knowledge, I have been practicing it with myself. Self-curiosity. As soon as we start assuming that we know ourselves and we stop this practice of self-inquiry, that's when we start to subconsciously put ourselves in this box. this outdated box that we have outgrown long ago. So practicing active curiosity every single day actually gives the space for inner me, my intuition, my inner child, my soul to come through and speak her desires. It's honestly one of the foundational tools for how I build a relationship with myself, how I started to view myself not as this mere body that I am occupying, but as this separate, soul, as this beautiful being that I myself want to get to know. Maybe it seems a little bit like self-absorbed, but I think there's a way to practice self-inquiry without inflating our own egos or, perpetuating harmful stories. Because I have been pouring love into myself through these ways, I also feel less stingy with my love for others. When I look back at my rage and my anger and my defensiveness, my self-protection, I recognize that all came from me having unmet needs. But the thing is, we don't always need for the other person to meet those needs for us first, that we could be that person for ourselves. And once I started to practice really fulfilling my needs, my grasp and expectations and projections of others have lessened because there's more openness around that. I think the change that I do ask for comes from a place of let's work together, instead of you need to change for me. So I'm redecorating my room, and I thought that it would be really cute if I put this up. This is a Valentine's Day card that my partner wrote for me maybe 2 years ago or last year. I don't remember. Probably 2 years ago. And I want to read this to you guys. So the day has come where I give you obligatory flowers, eh? Kidding. These flowers are for you, my love. I got these because they spoke to me, something you've been showing me how to do more and more as we spend time together. You are so in tune with your inner emotional path, and you use it almost like a compass to guide you in the direction you believe is the right path for you. Like a wanderer with a destination in mind, but no specific path to get there, you let fate take you where your sails will fill with wind, propelling you forward into the unknown, trusting that eventually you will arrive where you were always meant to be. Thankfully, this journey you've been on so far has led you here to this moment with me, and I couldn't be happier. Somehow, because of our decisions and indecisions, our triumphs and our failures, we find ourselves together. The odds seeming so slim yet so absolute, as if it were meant to happen. I don't know how much I believe in fate or everything happening for a reason, but what I do know is that I believe in us. And I believe that together we can make the life we dream of having together possible. And it's gonna take a hell of a lot of dedication, effort, intention, time, and love. And that excites me because I've got nothing but that and a whole lot more to give to you plus to us. I haven't read this card probably since my partner has given it to me, so just rereading this, I honestly forgot what he wrote. But it's so sweet. It actually is so sweet, and it just reminds me so much of how loved I am, more than I could ever probably comprehend. You know, one of the reasons why I came to this understanding that I was not practicing this genuine self-love was because I notice myself when I'm around my partner, just talking to him. It's so easy for this soft, tender, goofy, like childlike, innocent part of me to come out. But then when I'm alone, it's very hard for me to become, I guess, like in tune with that. I don't like that because that childlike innocence, that like lightheartedness, that tenderness, that gushy mushiness, when that part of me comes out, that's a sign that I am being loved, that I feel safe, that I feel like I could just melt, you know, relax into who I am and let go of all of my armor. And I was wondering, why does that not come out when I'm by myself? You know, is it because I'm hard on myself subconsciously? Is it because I tell myself that I can't do that, or I'm not creating the space intentionally for me to do that? There's probably all of those reasons plus many more. But yeah, I just haven't really been creating the space for me to have that softness, that sensitivity, that like delicateness, that, you know, like childlikeness to emerge. And maybe it's because I haven't really been tending to myself as much as my partner. You know what I mean? Like my partner loves me in ways that I do not love myself. And yeah, I say that I have like a strong foundation of self-love and self-respect, things like that. But when I really compare how he treats me and how I treat myself, it's very different. You know, or even like how I expect or want him to treat me. Do I even show up like that for myself? I don't. For a lot of areas, I don't. And it kind of like applies to my family too. I expect or want my parents to show up a certain way for me. But am I even showing up like that for me? You know, like, am I so focused on expecting other people to love me in a certain way? And am I even meeting up to those standards myself? Like, for example, brushing my hair. My partner would never brush my hair in a manner that I brush my hair. I'm just like, I don't even care if my hair rips. Like, I don't care if it breaks. Like, if I'm impatient and I just want to get the brushing over with. And my partner would never brush my hair like that. When I'm feeling sad or I guess like off, my partner would make it a priority to ask, what can I do for you? Like, what do you need right now? But when I'm alone and when that comes up for me, I don't do that for myself. I kind of just like marinate in the upsetness and it just turns into anger. And I'm realizing now that it turns into anger because when it turns into anger, my emotions, is because my unmet needs somehow reflect in that anger. Like, if I'm soft with myself, if I'm like, I'm here for you, like, let's talk about it, let's feel it together, I noticed this, that it's much less likely for the anger part to solidify. So cute. This is a book that I borrowed from the library because I wanted more inspiration for healthy, clean recipes, and I used the paper towel to mark it. But yeah, I cooked this. I have shredded chicken breast. And if you guys are looking for an easy recipe that preps chicken with very little effort, I recommend this recipe. I also prepared some cauliflower rice that I really want to cook with today. At my core, I am a very soft person, and I'm fascinated by how soft I am truly because, you know, I've been wearing layers of armor for basically my entire life. So undoing the programming that made me hardened and more cold and mean-spirited has been so healing. So far, I talked about full accountability, self-negligence, bringing awareness to ways we maybe don't show up fully for ourselves. But I think it's really important to end this video on a practice that acknowledges how much effort we do put in for us, how much we are trying, how much we are spreading ourselves thin or like being so stressed. All of these things is because we care about ourselves and our future. So our hard work needs to be celebrated. Juno, here you go.
What? Hi, thank you.
My turn. These are some side dishes my mom made. Eggplant and potato. Yeah, potato. When we do bring ourselves out to maybe a new park or like pick up a healthy habit, that needs to be celebrated, and not just once, but every time that we show up, it needs to be acknowledged. So I've just been telling myself that, thank you for bringing me out to the lake today. Thank you for bringing me to the gym today. Thank you for cooking healthy food for me today. Because every time I show up, it matters, and I never want to take my effort, my energy for granted. I'm not this robot that's here to carry out orders, I have my own energy levels, I have my own feelings, and when I see that within myself and acknowledge that my hard work, my effort does matter, and I see you, I appreciate you, thank you, it makes me feel like it's not all for nothing, that I see myself. And honestly, when I see myself in this way, what comes through is peace. It's peace with my reality. It's peace with the current circumstances. It's peace with maybe how things aren't going perfectly in my life. It's just overall peace because I see that you're trying, my love. And that is what matters. I am making homemade honey butter chips. Oh yeah. Oh. Guys, my recent obsession has been honey butter chips. And I looked at the ingredient list and it has palm oil in it. So, true self-love is me recognizing that I am obsessed with honey butter chips, but I cannot do that to my body. So, I am making my own. This is allulose. Come out. Oh. Okay. My dad bought an 18 pack of mini honey butter chip bags that they sold at H Mart. And I have been eating that every single day for the past week and a half. And yeah, my body definitely felt the difference of me eating that every single day. But it also made me look forward to it. So yeah, now I'm making my own. Because I'm a grown adult who could research how to make her favorite desserts, and instead of paying so much money or not knowing what I'm even eating when I order outside dessert, I could just make my own. And that is true self-love. True self-love is me showing up in the kitchen for my body, for my health, for my sanity, peace of mind. know. My mouth is salivating. I'm so excited. I tasted the sauce and it was heavenly. So first time trying the chips. I gave half to my parents. Ah. Oh